She left her cake. He starts for Anne's room with the cake. There is silence in the main room. Mrs. Von Don goes up to her room, followed by Von Don. Dussel stays looking out the window. Mr. Frank brings Mrs. Frank her cake. She eats it slowly, without relish. Mr. Frank takes his cake to Margot and sits quietly on the sofa beside her. Peter stands in the doorway of Anne's darkened room, looking at her, then makes a little movement to let her know he is there. Anne sits up quickly, trying to hide the signs of her tears. Peter holds out the cake to her. "You left this." "Thanks." Peter starts to go out, then comes back. "I thought you were fine just now. You know just how to talk to them. You know just how to say it. I'm no good. I never can think, especially when I'm mad. That Dussel, when he said that about Moushy, someone eating him, all I could think is, I wanted to hit him. I wanted to give him such that's what I used to do when there was an argument at school. That's the way but here, and an old man like that, it wouldn't be so good. You're making a big mistake about me. I do it all wrong. I say too much. I go too far. I hurt people's feelings." Dussel leaves the window, going to his room. "I think you're just fine. What I want to say, if it wasn't for you around here, I don't know what I mean." Peter's interrupted by Dussel's turning on the light. Dussel stands in the doorway, startled to see Peter. Peter advances toward him forbiddingly. Dussel backs out of the room. Peter closes the door on him. "Do you mean it, Peter? Do you really mean it?" "I said it, didn't I?" "Thank you, Peter." In the main room, Mr. and Mrs. Frank collect the dishes and take them to the sink, washing them. Margot lies down again on the couch. Dussel, lost, wanders into Peter's room and takes up a book, starting to read. Peter looking at the photographs on the wall. "You've got quite a collection. Wouldn't you like some in your room? I could give you some. Heaven knows you spend enough time in there, doing heaven knows what." "It's easier. A fight starts, or an argument, I duck in there." "You're lucky, having a room to go to. His lordship is always here. I hardly ever get a minute alone. When they start in on me, I can't duck away. I have to stand there and take it." "You gave some of it back just now." "I get so mad. They form their opinions about everything, but we're still trying to find out. We have problems here that no other people our age have ever had, and just as you think you've solved them, something comes along and bang, you have to start all over again." "At least you've got someone that you can talk to." "Not really. Mother, I never discuss anything serious with her. She doesn't understand. Father's all right. We can talk about everything but one thing. Mother, he simply won't talk about her. I don't think you can be really intimate with anyone if he holds something back, do you?" "I think your father's fine." "Oh, he is, Peter, he is. He's the only one who's ever given me the feeling that I have any sense. But anyway, nothing can take the place of school and play and friends of your own age, or near your age, can it?" "I suppose you miss your friends and all." "It isn't just—" She breaks off, staring up at him for a second. "Isn't it funny, you and I? Here we've been seeing each other every minute for almost a year and a half, and this is the first time we've ever really talked. It helps a lot to have someone to talk to, don't you think? It helps you to let off steam." "Well, anytime you want to let off steam, you can come into my room." "I can get up an awful lot of steam. You'll have to be careful how you say that." "It's all right with me." "Do you mean it?" "I said it, didn't I?" He goes out. Anne stands in her doorway looking after him. As Peter gets to his door, he stands for a minute looking back at her. Then he goes into his room. Dussel rises as he comes in and quickly passes him, going out. He starts across for his room. Anne sees him coming and pulls her door shut. Dussel turns back towards Peter's room. Peter pulls his door shut. Dussel stands there, bewildered, forlorn. The scene slowly dims out. The curtain falls on the scene. Anne's voice comes over in the darkness, faintly at first and then with growing strength. "We've had bad news. The people from whom Meep got our ration books have been arrested, so we have had to cut down on our food. Our stomachs are so empty that they rumble and make strange noises, all in different keys. Mr. Von Don's is deep and low, like a bass fiddle. Mine is high, whistling like a flute. As we all sit around waiting for supper, it's like an orchestra tuning up. It only needs Toscanini to raise his baton, and we'd be off in the ride of the Valkyries. Monday, the 6th of March, 1944. Mr. Kraler is in the hospital. It seems he has ulcers. Pim says we are his ulcers. Miep has to run the business, and us too. The Americans have landed on the southern tip of Italy. Father looks for a quick finish to the war. Mr. Dussel is waiting every day for the warehouse man to demand more money. Have I been skipping too much from one subject to another? I can't help it. I feel that spring is coming. I feel it in my whole body and soul. I feel utterly confused. I am longing, so longing, for everything. For friends, for someone to talk to, someone who understands, someone young, who feels as I do. As these last lines are being said, the curtain rises on the scene. The lights dim on. Anne's voice fades out. Scene 2. It is evening, after supper. From outside we hear the sound of children playing. The grown-ups, with the exception of Mr. Von Don, are all in the main room. Mrs. Frank is doing some mending. Mrs. Von Don is reading a fashion magazine. Mr. Frank is going over business accounts. Dussel, in his dentist's jacket, is pacing up and down, impatient to get into his bedroom. Mr. Von Don is upstairs working on a piece of embroidery in an embroidery frame. In his room, Peter is sitting before the mirror, smoothing his hair. As the scene goes on, he puts on his tie, brushes his coat, and puts it on, preparing himself meticulously for a visit from Anne. On his wall are now hung some of Anne's motion picture stars. In her room, Anne, too, is getting dressed. She stands before the mirror in her slip, trying various ways of dressing her hair. Margot is seated on the sofa, hemming a skirt for Anne to wear. In the main room, Dussel can stand it no longer. He comes over, rapping sharply on the door of his and Anne's bedroom. "No, no, Mr. Dussel, I am not dressed yet." Dussel walks away, furious, sitting down and burying his head in his hands. Anne turns to Margot. "How is that? How does that look?" "Fine." "You didn't even look." "Of course I did. It's fine." "Margot, tell me, am I terribly ugly?" "Oh, stop fishing." "No, no, tell me." "Of course you're not. You've got nice eyes, and a lot of animation, and a little vague, aren't you?" She reaches over and takes the brassiere out of Margot's sewing basket. She holds it up to herself, studying the effect in the mirror. Outside, Mrs. Frank, feeling sorry for Dussel, comes over, knocking at the girl's door. "May I come in?" "Come in, Mother." "Mr. Dussel's impatient to get in here." "Heavens! He takes the room for himself the entire day." "Anne, dear, you're not going in again tonight to see Peter." "That is my intention." "But you've already spent a great deal of time in there today." "I was in there exactly twice, once to get the dictionary, and then 3/4 of an hour before supper." "Aren't you afraid you're disturbing him?" "Mother, I have some intuition." "Then may I ask you this much, Anne? Please don't shut the door when you go in." "You sound like Mrs. Von Don." She throws the brassiere back in Margot's sewing basket and picks up her blouse, putting it on. No, I don't mean to suggest anything wrong. I only wish that you wouldn't expose yourself to criticism, that you wouldn't give Mrs. Von Don the opportunity to be unpleasant." "Mrs. Von Don doesn't need an opportunity to be unpleasant." "Everyone's on the edge, worried about Mr. Kraler. This is one more thing." "I'm sorry, Mother. I'm going to Peter's room. I'm not going to let Petronella Von Don spoil our friendship." Mrs. Frank hesitates for a second, then goes out, closing the door after her. She gets a pack of playing cards and sits at the center table playing solitaire. In Anne's room, Margot hands the finished skirt to Anne. As Anne is putting it on, Margot takes off her high-heeled shoes and stuffs paper on the toes so that Anne can wear them. "Why don't you two talk in the main room? It'd save a lot of trouble. It's hard on Mother, having to listen to those remarks from Mrs. Von Don and not say a word." "Why doesn't she say a word? I think it's ridiculous to take it and take it." "You don't understand Mother at all, do you? She can't talk back. She's not like you. It's just not in her nature to fight back." "Anyway, the only one I worry about is you. I feel awfully guilty about you." She sits on the stool near Margot, putting on Margot's high-heeled shoes. "What about?" "I mean, every time I go into Peter's room, I have a feeling I may be hurting you." Margot shakes her head. "I know if it were me, I'd be wild. I'd be desperately jealous if it were me." "Well, I'm not." "You don't feel badly? Really? Truly? You're not jealous?" "Of course I'm jealous. Jealous that you've got something to get up in the morning for, but jealous of you and Peter? No. Anne goes back to the mirror. Maybe there's nothing to be jealous of. Maybe he doesn't really like me. Maybe I'm just taking the place of his cat. She picks up a pair of short white gloves, putting them on. Wouldn't you like to come in with us? I have a book. The sound of the children playing outside fades out. In the main room, Dussel can stand it no longer. He jumps up, going to the bedroom door and knocking sharply. Will you please let me in my room? Just a minute, dear Mr. Dussel. She picks up her mother's pink stole and adjusts it elegantly over her shoulders, then gives a last look in the mirror. Well, here I go, to run the gauntlet. She starts out, followed by Margot. Dussel, as she appears, sarcastic. Thank you so much. Dussel goes into his room. Anne goes toward Peter's room, passing Mrs. Von Don and her parents at the center table. My God, look at her. Anne pays no attention. She knocks at Peter's door. I don't know what good it is to have a son. I never see him. He wouldn't care if I killed myself. Peter opens the door and stands aside for Anne to come in. Just a minute, Anne. She goes to them at the door. I'd like to say a few words to my son. Do you mind? Peter and Anne stand waiting. Peter, I don't want you staying up till all hours tonight. You've got to have your sleep. You're a growing boy. You hear? Anne won't stay late. She's going to bed promptly at 9, aren't you, Anne? Yes, Mother, to Mrs. Von Don. May we go now? Are you asking me? I didn't know I had anything to say about it. Listen for the chimes, Anne dear. The two young people go off into Peter's room, shutting the door after them. In my day, it was the boys who called on the girls, not the girls on the boys. You know how young people like to feel that they have secrets. Peter's room is the only place where they can talk. Talk! That's not what they called it when I was young. Mrs. Von Don goes off to the bathroom. Margot settles down to read her book. Mr. Frank puts his papers away and brings a chess game to the center table. He and Mrs. Frank start to play. In Peter's room, Anne speaks to Peter, indignant, humiliated. Aren't they awful? Aren't they impossible? Treating us as if we were still in the nursery. She sits on the cot. Peter gets a bottle of pop and 2 glasses. Don't let it bother you. It doesn't bother me. I suppose you can't really blame them. They think back to what they were like at our age. They don't realize how much more advanced we are. When you think what wonderful discussions we've had. Oh, I forgot. I was going to bring you some more pictures. Oh, these are fine, thanks. Don't you want some more? Meep just brought me some new ones. Maybe later. He gives her a glass of pop and, taking some for himself, sits down facing her. I remember when I got that. I won it. I bet Yopi that I could eat 5 ice cream cones. We'd all been playing ping pong. We used to have heavenly times. We'd finish up with ice cream at the Delphi, or the Oasis, where Jews were allowed. There'd always be a lot of boys. We'd laugh and joke. I'd like to go back to it for a few days or a week, but after that, I know I'd be bored to death. I think more seriously about life now. I want to be a journalist, or something. I love to write. What do you want to do? I thought I might go off someplace, work on a farm or something, some job that doesn't take much brains. You shouldn't talk that way. You've got the most awful inferiority complex. I know I'm not smart. That isn't true. You're much better than I am in dozens of things. Arithmetic and algebra and... Well, you are a million times better than I am in algebra. You like Margot, don't you? Right from the start you liked her. Liked her much better than me. Oh, I don't know. In the main room, Mrs. Von Don comes from the bathroom and goes over to the sink, polishing a coffee pot. It's all right. Everyone feels that way. Margot's so good. She's sweet and bright and beautiful, and I'm not. I wouldn't say that. Oh, no, I'm not. I know that. I know quite well that I'm not a beauty. I never have been and never shall be. I don't agree at all. I think you're pretty. That's not true. And another thing, you've changed. From at first, I mean. I have? I used to think you were awful noisy. And what do you think now, Peter? How have I changed? Well, you're quieter. In his room, Dussel takes his pajamas and toilet articles and goes into the bathroom to change. I'm glad you don't just hate me. I never said that. I bet when you get out of here, you'll never think of me again. That's crazy. When you get back with all your friends, you're going to say, now what did I ever see in that Mrs. Quack Quack? I haven't got friends. Oh, Peter, of course you have. Everyone has friends. Not me. I don't want any. I get along all right without them.